ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी का स्वागत है बच्चों। ये जो 15 और 16 फरवरी को जो आपका एग्ज़ाम होने जा रहा है उसके हिसाब से डिक्टेशन पढ़ी जा रही है। इससे पिछली क्लास तक मैंने आपको कहा था पहले डिक्टेशन को एज ए अनसीन लिखने की कोशिश करनी है। अब मैं कह रहा हूँ जो आप पहली बार जो अनसीन लिखोगे अब उसको टाइप भी करना है, और फिर जो है टाइप करने के बाद फिर उसको दोबारा फिर सुनना है, आउटलाइंस देखनी जो नहीं आई, और फिर क्या कहते हैं उसको एक बार खुद से प्रैक्टिस कर लेनी है। तो अब मैं एज ए अनसीन ही बोलूँगा आपको, और वो आपको सीधी टाइप करनी होगी। उसकी प्रैक्टिस जो करनी है वो आपको खुद से करनी होगी, क्योंकि समय घटता जा रहा है तो लेवल भी बढ़ता जाएगा। तो यानी कि अब मैं डिक्टेशन केवल एक बार पढ़ूँगा और ये आपको टाइप भी करनी होगी। टाइप करने के बाद जो भी एक्यूरेसी आई फिर जो आप इसको एज ए सीन जो है इसकी आउटलाइंस को देखिए। जैसे मैं साउंड के साथ जो आउटलाइंस को देखिए कौन कौन सी नहीं आई उनको हाईलाइट कर लीजिए, थोड़ी बहुत प्रैक्टिस कर लीजिए, फिर उसको छोड़ दीजिए। फिर जैसे ही अगली डिक्टेशन बोलती है फिर अगली फोकस कीजिए। इस तरह से जैसे आप करते जाओगे तो आपके वर्ड बढ़ेंगे। अगर हम एक ही के पीछे ज़्यादा लगे रहेंगे तो मामला ख़राब हो जाएगा। तो अब मैं पढ़ने जा रहा हूँ क्लास डिक्टेशन नंबर 171। ध्यान रहे ये आपको टाइप भी करनी है, तो पूरा फोकस करें सही से लिखने का। और जो है ऑल दी बेस्ट सबको। डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट आफ्टर 5 सेकेंड। द डिबेट जनरली मैडम हैज strayed beyond the scope of the report of the committee. In fact, it has almost been a general resume of the work of this house for the past 12 years. Of the opportunities we have had, or of the opportunities we could have had, and that sort of thing. Although many members have touched on many points, still amendments have been tabled only on a few of the rules. But I do not mean to say that their references to the several points are not quite relevant. Certainly they are relevant and they are very useful suggestions. In fact, this debate has been very valuable in throwing much light on the report of this committee. There is no time at my disposal, so I will very briefly cover some of the points which need reply. Of course, many points do need reply, but I will take some points which are very relevant and reply very briefly. Before going to that, I would mention that there was a very factual error committed by one of the honorable members when he said that although we were revising our rules at this late stage, still we had an advantage over the other house which had not yet done this work. It is not correct. The other house has adopted the rules at this late stage. Still we had an advantage over the other house which had adopted the rules under Article 118 on the 22nd December 2006, and later on also the other house had modified those rules. One or two modifications were adopted next year, so that is not factually correct. Now much of the criticism or suggestion or discussion has centered round the subject of questions. About questions, three parts have been made: admissibility of questions or rejections of questions, answering questions, and then the various clauses that determine the nature of questions. These are the three aspects on which several members have made remarks. Now, with regard to admissibility, several members have cast some reflection on the Secretariat. Well, the Secretariat can only go by the rules, by the conditions prescribed here, unless we say that these conditions are qualifications for a question should not be there. I do not think we can blame the Secretariat. You will remember, Madam Deputy Chairman, that I was one of those who are putting many questions, and I also had the misfortune to have many of my questions rejected. It is true, as many of the honorable members have said, that questions which have been rejected on one ground have been admitted again on the same ground. It has happened like that, but that depends upon the particular person handling the question and his interpretation put upon that. However much we may put down these rules, however much a foolproof framework we can devise for the guidance of those who have got to function and deal with these questions, still there is the subjective element which we cannot avoid, and it is a matter of interpretation. Therefore, we should not blame the Secretariat, because nobody can say that they do it with any malified intention. All that we can say is they can exercise their judgment either wrongly or correctly or indifferently. So it is open to every member, when he feels that his question ought not to have been rejected, to go to the Secretariat, sit with the concerned section, and then discuss with them. That was what I was doing. That is what many of the members have been doing. Then, after a discussion, either the person understands that his interpretation was wrong, or he convinces us that his interpretation was right, and that the question as the rule is framed cannot be admitted. It must be realized that the admissibility or rejection of questions is in the name of the chairman. Although one section of the Secretariat handles the questions, still it is done in the name of the chairman. So it is not correct property to being the Secretariat into question Here, the remedy is open to us to go to them and discuss with them. But the disappointment is there. I have also had that disappointment. It is true that when in one house on one ground a question is rejected, in another house on the same ground that question is accepted. It has happened like that. But there can be no remedy except going there and having a personal discussion. With regard to the second point, that is answering questions, I think some remarks have been made attributing a sort of motive to the ministers. Madam Deputy Chairman, I would humbly like to submit that we should not question the bona fides of the government. If we begin to question the bona fides of the government, there can be no end to it and we cannot carry on. A minister may be acting mala fide, we must take it that he is acting bona fide. He is not infallible, and the secretariat which furnishes him with answers is also not infallible. तो ये लगभग जो है 82 की स्पीड थी, वेबसाइट पे इसको लगा दिया गया 171। इसको अच्छे से पढ़िए और इसको टाइप कर दीजिएगा, ये आपको टाइप करनी ही पड़ेगी और टाइप करके जो भी एक्यूरेसी आती है फिर जो है इसको जैसे फिर एक बार फिर दोबारा फिर सुनना, अपनी जो है क्लास मैगजीन लेकर निकाल करके उससे आउटलाइन मिलाना, जो आउटलाइन आपके लिए नहीं थी उनकी थोड़ी सी प्रैक्टिस कर लेना, फिर अगली डिक्टेशन जो है फिर वो भी एज एनसीन लिखना, फिर जो जिस वर्ड नहीं आए उनको जैसे आपको अलग से हाईलाइट कर लेने थोड़े से। इस क्लास के अंदर इतना है बच्चों, नमस्कार बच्चों।